Hello and welcome to Embodied Astrology, Cancer season. My name is Nicole, astrologer, ancestral healer, ritualist, all around weird woo-woo witch here at Folk Healing. Anna, do you want to
I'm,
say hello?
I guess so. I'm Anna. I am the other half of folk. I'm an intuitive, divination, ritualist, yoga teacher, somatic practitioner, ghostbuster, etc.
Beautiful. And if you are watching this, it means that you have purchased and downloaded our Embodied Cancer workshops. We're really happy to have you here. We are going to kind of lead you through the order of what we're going to do, and then we will dive in. So up front, we really are just going to chat a little bit about astrology, and then Anna is going to lead us through some really lovely breath work to land us in our bodies. Then Anna is also going to lead us through some beautiful movement, and then we will finish it off with a short guided meditation. So to say a few words about embodied astrology, so you know what it is. I'm assuming you know what it is that you signed up for, but embodied astrology, we started about a year. It's a year and a half now. We've been
Oh
doing this for
gosh,
a
yeah.
while. And we decided that it would be really nice to have some sort of workshop or program to help land our bodies in the cycle of the year, in the energy of the season that we are in, because so often we move through the year at one energy of output, one energy of capitalism. And really, there are a lot of ancient wisdoms, not just with astrology, but with many, many cultures for how to actually move throughout the year with different outputs and with different ways of caring and attuning to the world around us. So, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, it is Cancer season. It is hot and it is just newly summer solstice, and we are now heading towards shorter, darker days, but we are still very, very much in the heat and in the peak of summertime. So let's talk about Cancer. Let's talk about the sign of Cancer. Anna, tell me a little bit about your experience with the Cancers in your life.
I'm always trying to view any sign through the lens of the people I know that are this sign. I feel like that sometimes maybe can be misleading, but for the most part, it's very helpful to see how it shows up for different folks. I have two very close, dear, wonderful people. I'm thinking of a third now, actually, who are cancers and whom I love very much and whom have many similarities. So, two of these, whom I'm very close with, a very good friend and my husband, do not believe in astrology at all. And in fact, I've seen this theme throughout several cancers I've known. Certainly not all of them, but big skeptics. These two, especially, big skeptics. And something I always notice about them is that, like, crab analogy, where it's this thick outer shell. They're like a walnut in there. You got to chip away at it to get to their sweet, soft, tender, emotional meat. They've got
Mhm.
such deep, complex thoughts and feelings. That inner world is so rich, but nobody's getting in. Nobody's getting in. Personally, take that challenge. I'm ready to try to, chip my way in.
Yeah, yeah, fully. I love that. I love and respect that about you. And we should have introduced our signs. That's very helpful also
It's
to
helpful.
know why we hate who we hate and why we love who we love. So Anna, what are your big three astrology signs?
I am Pisces sun, Virgo moon, and Libra rising.
Yeah, yeah. So it's squares that you are both challenged and frustrated by the cancers in your life. And I'm a Sagittarius sun, Virgo moon, because we are the best,
Yeah.
and a Capricorn rising. So yeah, yeah, no tolerance, not a lot of love in this. We're gonna lean into Cancer and everything that it brings to us, but we both struggle for, I think I struggle with really appreciating Cancer, but we'll dive into what Cancer can offer us. This is not just for if you are a Cancer. Perhaps it can help you to view the Cancers in your life a little bit differently. Any other hot takes about Cancer? And then we can continue to chit chat as we talk through some of the facts of Cancer.
Well, I do find cancers to be incredibly psychic, very very
Mm,
intuitive, very like whether they're trying or not, information is coming to them. They're
yes.
receiving it, whether they like it or not.
Yes.
Also,
Yes. Stubbornly intuitive. Intuitive, but in denial of their intuition. Yeah.
yes,
They could have like a burning bush in front of them and they would be like, but I came up with that information. Yeah.
it's me. I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
So let's chat about Cancer a little bit more in depth. I'll probably post a couple of PDFs for anybody who is, watching this at home. The quick facts, the quick and dirty. Some of the things that we touched on, I think, can be tied to the fact that it's ruled by the moon, which I think is the true irony to a lot of the things that Anna is mentioning. Because yeah, they should by all assumptions, if you're ruled by the moon, they're the only sign that's ruled by the moon. They should be the mooniest. They are the least mooniest. So, this is why Cancers are, at least in concept, known to be emotional, because the moon rules our emotions, the tidal waves of our tears, of all of our blood, our circulatory system. The moon also rules our inner life. And so perhaps it's a little bit why Cancer, is emotional, but they do be keeping it on the inside, whereas, Pisces and Scorpio are like,
Oh,
here's
it's for you
here's it
guys.
everywhere. So everything that you know about the moon can really inform our knowledge of Cancers
Mhm.
and the concept, and we'll talk about it a little bit, the concepts of the other things that are ruled by the moon. The moon is also known for telling us how we get our needs met, how we connect with our bodies, how we feel nurtured, all things that perhaps some Cancers really do struggle with. Cancers are the modalities, they are cardinal water. And we were just doing another video where I had a hot take that I'm sure will not age or hold up well. That I
Oh
think that,
no.
like, I don't like cardinal signs, even though, do I have any cardinal signs? No, I don't. Am I the problem? Am I the
Is it me?
villain? That cardinal signs, I find, like, we both have a lot of the fluidness of our Pisces, and our Sagittarius and our Virgos are all the mutable. So they are like the most flexible, changeable, able to evolve. And Cancer is a cardinal sign, which means it has the newness of a baby just hatching into the world. And it has a lot of this, the confidence of something who has just been born, just learned about a thing, doesn't know better about a lot of things. There's a lot of beauty in cardinal signs. Like, we wouldn't get a lot of stuff done if it weren't for some of that cardinal energy kind of like pushing us in the directions that we need to go in. But sometimes cardinal signs aren't as evolved as the other signs, because they are sometimes the purest expression of the
Mhm.
sign. It hasn't had a chance to move around the wheel of the zodiac just yet. We compare it to, Scorpio, which is like really delving into the depth of its emotions and its own psyche and its shadow. And then it lands on you, and it finally gets to Pisces, which is just like, I have walked this earth, I have seen things, and now I'm ready to walk the astral plane as the most
Yeah.
evolved of the water signs.
Oh, us?
I know you love a good Pisces compliment.
I really do.
You really do.
That's my
It's a
Libra rising.
Yes, it's truly. It's a water sign. I feel like that's up for debate. I feel like it's
Mhm.
very like water. It's moving water when you think about it. So it is a stream. It is the trickle of a stream, maybe the beginning of an inlet, if you will. It's not really like a flowing waterfall yet. But the water signs talk about just like emotions and the capacity for connection with others. So lots and lots of potential for Cancer. It rules, and this is what Anna will get into, and we'll touch on this a little bit in our guided meditation. It rules the stomach and the chest, which I just love, because Cancer is all about nurturing and mothering. And even if you are not a person who is assigned female, or even a person who ever chooses to be a mother, these are very obviously 2 points at which we grow life, nurture life. These are also, depending on what systems you believe in, whether it's, the chakras or the dantians, um, are two really important energy centers of like heart space and like this nervous system powerhouse. So it's very cool that these are the places ruled by this moon connected sign. And I think sometimes our Cancer babies are just so worried about the open capacity of these centers that they're just like that, as opposed to maybe softening. So we might do some of that today. The symbol, sometimes the symbol is really informative of like the mythology and the analogies that we can draw about a sign. But Cancer's really sucks. Anna, I don't know if you're a Greek mythology person.
All
But this is,
mythology.
I love it. Yeah, but I don't know. I watched Hercules. I came of age during the animated Hercules, and so this is a Hercules myth. I know, right? Some of the other ones are so cool. Not this one. This is just,
There are better ones.
there are really better ones. This one is like the gods were like, hey, we need another thing for Hercules to do. Can we get a big crab in the house? And they were like, here's this big crab. And the big crab like sacrifice, Hercules obviously beat all of the things he was supposed to beat. And so as a reward, they put the Cancer crab in the sky and he could be a constellation. That's it. Yeah.
That's very like Moana-esque though. Like I'm
Yeah.
picturing
Yeah.
that crab, that awesome shiny song. Put
Shiny.
him in
Yeah.
the sky. You know what I'm talking
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I'm sure all of our people watching will know exactly. I can't for the life of me remember the name. Tamatoa? I don't know.
about? Something.
Luckily, we're not watching it too much these days. No, it is that similar energy though. It is like a big ass crab in the sky. The other things that I think are really important when we're looking at how do we embody, like even if you don't know any cancers, or even if Cancer isn't prominent in your chart, why this is helpful is to look at where in your birth chart do you have Cancer? Where does it kind of intersect with parts of your life? And then also, your fourth house. So Cancer is connected to the fourth house. It's the first part of like, after solstice, we're in the second, the second part of the year finally. We've moved into a new segment. And so the fourth house rules our home, our ancestors, our generational patterns. I love ancestral astrology. This is like my favorite, favorite, favorite. And so the fourth house, the eighth house, and the 12th house are all of our ancestral houses. The 12th and the eighth are like more fun. They're like kind of like getting into the dark side. And the fourth is really like, what is the specific vibe of your generational trauma? And that is in the fourth house. Yeah, it's pretty great. I wish I pulled up your chart, Anna. I don't know if you can think what rules your fourth house.
I do not know.
I'll
I'm
look it up.
sorry.
I'll spit it out later. But yeah, so like
I'm excited to learn now though.
I know. It's like, what is my trauma going to look like? And it may
I
not even
wonder.
be something knowable. It could be generations before you. Like this is something that maybe shaped the patterns that you grew up with. So like, if you have, so for instance, mine is ruled by Aries, which is like, the planet of volatility, exactly. The planet of volatility and war and often violence and male aggression. And so you look at a lot of the patterns that I grew up with and the generational trauma of World War II and the Holocaust and yada, yada, yada. And you can understand how some of those generational patterns shaped the volatility of the home that somebody may have grown up in. On the flip side, if you had a really great childhood and you have a fourth house ruled by Aries, it may just be that you had like a kind of chaotic household, like, lots of adventures and inventing and somebody who was always just like looking for something new to do. That could be the specific flavor of your patterning. I don't know a lot of people who had a great childhood though, so I always usually lean towards the bad versions of the signs.
I was like, who is this?
I
Great
don't know them.
childhood. That's
I do not
amazing.
know them. I do not
Couldn't be
know
me.
them. So yeah, that is a little bit about the fourth house. And so when you're looking at Cancer, you can look at also like, what is your fourth house got in it? And then also where in the wheel of your birth chart is Cancer sitting? And that can kind of inform some things. The themes of Cancer, we touched on all of these a little bit. Protection, Cancer is thought is a very matriarchal sign. Even with men, there are lots of different ways that humans are nurturers and protectors. So it's the mother crab often is how it's depicted. And I love all of the imagery. I think the crab, though the mythology is dumb, the image is so perfect that they really do not deal with conflict straight on, or emotions, or humans. Yeah, it's this side to side, don't touch me kind of vibe. Lots of protective armor, builds a very cozy house, takes care of its own. And
Very good caregivers, right?
very good caregivers. I mean, caregiving in the ways that they think that others need to be caregived for.
Okay, yeah, true.
Yeah. Always looking at, even though they are very intuitive, not always caregiving in the ways that their children or those around them most need. And I think that's because the sign of Cancer is actually very, can have a really conservative bent if like left to its own devices. It's very like, it has the potential to be very MAGA, very America first, very tribal, because of that fourth house placement of like legacy and family, that it can be very isolationist if you like, if it gets really funky and left to its own devices. But the best version is like somebody who is like that parent or that mother who like has all the teenagers in their house and like cooks for everyone and nurtures and wants to foster a sense of community, which is the other thing that Cancer season and Cancer is known for, is this idea of nurturing community, which is what I think we should lead into in this day and age. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince people to get in touch with their mothering or their inner mother, but I think when we take where we're at right now, it's 2025. I don't know when you're all going to be watching this, but you know, we're in the midst of genocide and war and a really horrible fascist regime that we are living in the United States. And so we've been through it this first half of the year. In Gemini season, we're kind of out gathering information and like expanding and learning and growing. And then in Cancer season, we're really thinking, how do we come back into our nest a little bit? How do we like feel into what's happened in our lives, like really feel the grief of what we've been inhabiting? And how do we actually do that within a community? Like, how do we build systems of mutual aid and relationship, like knowing that, oh, we stuck our head out of the sand, shit's really bad, we actually need our crabby community to survive, and like now we need to build that crabby community with the people around us. And so I think that was the last little bit, was just talking about the flow of the season. Yeah, the only other thing I would say is that, you know, like now we're at the start of the summer season. When we think about the birth chart as like an evolution of the life cycle, and, you know, I did say Pisces is the most evolved, Anna, it really is, but it also is like the oldest sign. So you are the crone a little bit.
That's fine.
It's fine. You're good with that. And so
I'm
we're
right with
like,
that.
we're in like our maiden era in Cancer. Like we are establishing our home, we're establishing our community, you know, we're in like, you know, early adulthood or adolescence. And so like sometimes the emotions I like to think of as like a teenager's level of emotions, which I think fits what you were saying about Cancer, that it's like, don't talk to me. And then like, but also inside I'm like hurting so deeply. And like it's a very immature way of emotionally expressing, that we have to go through. Like we have to do this in order to get to the most evolved version of feeling our emotions, which is actually all of us are connected and all of our emotions are one, and the beautifulness of Pisces. Yeah. Any thoughts, any takeaways before we kind of move on to our next portion?
Just really loved what you were saying about the ancestral, like sort of all these ways that ancestors are connected in Cancer. Really, I'm trying to like wrap my head around what you were saying there with the people, and like, how is it affecting this Cancer I know? How is it affecting this Cancer I know? And it does seem to be true of the ones I'm thinking of that are like, it's really, you know, well, who knows what the other ones are? I'm not thinking about them. But my top three, I'm like, yeah, they're really, that's really important to them. Their family, number one, absolute most important thing.
Yeah.
Their legacy, their heritage, all these things are really important to these people, although it shows up in really different ways.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. Very cool. I love that. I love when it turns out to be true.
Right?
That's always good. All right. Well, next I'm going to throw it over to Anna to lead us through a little bit of breath work, and then we will open things more with a poem.
Great. So this breath work we're going to do, you can do really in any position. If you want to lay down, if you want to sit down. I wouldn't recommend being super hunched for it. I would recommend some support, especially for your back and lungs, but laying down, sitting with your back against something, these are great. And really, the key here is just to find a place where you're comfortable and your body can be relaxed. So I'm in an office chair, sitting with my back. You don't need any props for this. You can close or open your eyes however you like. We're going to do bee breath or Brahmari pranayama. I like this one virtually because you're getting a lot of sound happening, which is a benefit of breath work in a group practice in person. You hear that sound and it's a somatic experience. Your body wants to join the rhythm of this breath and you begin syncing up. I think this is a really important, fun part of breath work. But with this one, it's really different. You're shutting everyone else out. You're going to plug your ears and then you're going to kind of hum out. We're going to do this at our own pace and we'll do it for a few minutes and I'll give a visual signal because you may not be able to hear me with your ears plugged. So I'll demonstrate and then we can all do it together. So we'll take a big, deep breath in, filling our lungs. Slowly, we're going to exhale, fingers and ears, and hum it out. And then we'll take another one in and hum out at your own pace. As you do this, feeling that vibration in your lungs, up against your ribs, down in your diaphragm, a sound so similar to the hive of bees. While bees definitely have the potential to sting us, and there is some minimal danger there, for the most part, they are a harmless helper. We cannot live without them. Just a few more breaths here at your own pace, syncing yourself to this internal vibration, this feeling of bees. And we can stop here. Maybe just taking a moment to notice how that felt, how it sounded. It's sometimes surprising to hear ourselves so loudly inside our head, that kind of echoing humming. This is a great practice that you can do like anywhere. You can do one breath, that's helpful. You could do a handful of breaths. You could do it quickly. And while it sounds very loud to yourself inside your head with your ears plugged, other people don't hear you very much. The humming outside of your body is actually not that loud. This is what I like to do maybe at a stoplight or, as I'm at the pickup line to get my kids from school, just those little moments where I may be a little bit stressed. This can kind of bring everything down a little bit. Nicole's going to lead us in a beautiful poem next.
So, an invitation to keep your eyes closed if you really sunk into that deep breath. And go ahead and place a hand on that chest, maybe another hand on your stomach as a way to welcome in those Cancer parts of our body. And this is a poem by Jan Richardson called When We Breathe Together. This is the blessing we cannot speak by ourselves. This is the blessing we cannot summon by our own devices, cannot shape to our purpose, cannot bend to our will. This is the blessing that comes when we leave behind our aloneness, when we gather together. This is the blessing that blazes among us when we speak the words strange to our ears, when we finally listen into the chaos, when we breathe together at last. And so, an invitation to just sit with those words for a moment and to allow your breath to really land in that chest and allowing that breath to also move into those belly regions. And in a moment, we'll pass it back over to Anna, who will lead us in some gentle movement, also anchoring and opening up our chest and our stomach parts.
All right, so we're going to do some, I promise, very gentle movement. You do not need any props for this, but if you'd like some, and you have some of these items at home, they can be helpful. I'm going to have some blocks. You only need one for this. And just an ordinary throw pillow. This one's pretty small. If you have something like that at home, that may be helpful here. Other options would be a blanket or a towel rolled up can be helpful. I do recommend some water, but it's not going to be vigorous. So don't you worry. We're going to start out in child's pose. I really like this shape with my knees pretty far apart, but I'm going to do this one with them together because I have a very specific purpose. If that's not comfortable for you, feel free to have your knees apart. My aim here is to compress our low belly a little bit, and that will definitely happen for me. So we'll start here, sliding forward down into child's pose. This shape should be restful. You should feel a slight compression of your belly and your thighs here. This gentle compression stimulates your stomach meridian. Stimulating these helps flow energy in and through that area. We're going to find some stillness here. Perhaps noticing that compression as we take in a deep breath. Breathing into the back body, feeling a nice stretch there. Bring your arms out, maybe even just a little bit further. Stretching the sides and front of our chest. Just a few more breaths. Slowly coming out of child's. I really like to press my hands into the ground, pushing me up. You'll find a seat here, sitting on your feet, or if you prefer, up on your knees. I'm going to turn here so you can see a little better. We're going to do an adapted camel. Here you can take your hands behind you with your fingers pointing behind, leaning back, opening the chest here, looking up, opening the throat. If this is uncomfortable, you can try with your hands at your low back, still leaning and opening that chest. If you'd like a little deeper stretch, you can come onto your knees and bring your hands back to your heels or to the ground. This is too much of a stretch for my messed up shoulders, so I won't be doing that. Any of this is fine. We're just going to stretch here. A few more breaths. Feeling that heart opening stretch across the front of our chest. Sitting with this light stretch in the chest. You get a little bit of tingling along there, maybe a little bit of heat. Noticing that. Noticing without judgment. Next, we're going to do deer pose. And for this, I really do recommend a block or a pillow. For deer, I think it's nice to start in crisscross applesauce or easy seat. And then we're going to keep our left leg bent like this. And then our right leg is going to come and bend over here. For some people, this can be too much strain on the knees or your other joints affected. A block just under your buns can really alleviate a lot of that pressure, that twisting at the ankles and knees. You could try your block in many different ways. The higher up, the less twist and strain on the knees. If you don't have a block and you're using a pillow, the same idea stands. The more important part of this pose today is going to be with our shoulders, neck, and our eyes. We're going to do a twist, so do be mindful that your spine is staying straight right above your pelvis. We're going to turn, taking our right hand to our left knee. And then our left hand is going to come behind us. Sometimes a block there is nice as well. We're not looking for too deep a stretch. Just as comfortable as you can be turning at the shoulders, turning here at your midsection, and then turning again with your chin. And here, do go as far as you can comfortably look behind you, and with your eyes also turning as far as you can see behind you. This eye part of deer pose is an important somatic process. What we're going to do is just hold this pose. Again, you want to be comfortable making any slight adjustments you may need. We're going to wait for our body to give us a physiological sign. This could be a shiver. This could be a sneeze, a cough, sometimes a tickle in your throat even, and most commonly a yawn. The more you practice, the quicker this physiological sign will happen for you. It doesn't happen for everybody, and it doesn't happen every time. So be patient with yourself. Let yourself hold this shape, waiting, giving yourself that gracious moment to receive the information that your body is taking in. Your eyes are seeing behind you. It is sending signals to your brain that you are safe. Of course, where you are, you probably already know that you're safe. I am in my own home. There is nothing dangerous for me here. That is a logical thing to know. That's very different for our bodies and our nervous systems to know. If you've gotten your physiological sign, we're going to move to the other side. For deer, I really like to just kind of bring my knees up, keeping my feet where they are, and then twisting to the other side. But you can do this however you like. This side may feel quite different, or it might be the same. What we do is the same. We're still going to turn. So this time taking our left hand to our right knee, right hand behind us, keeping that spine straight, twisting at the middle, twisting our shoulders, and then our chin, and finally our eyes. And again, we're going to wait for that sign. We're going to give it some moments. When you do receive that sign, you can return to any comfortable seated position. Or you can stay where you are, letting yourself find some ease, letting your body experience those signals, even if it's not ready to talk back. This is a gift. Our nervous system is receiving that information and it is going to do things with it. Our next shape is going to be flat on our back, and I'm happy to tell you that's where we're going to stay for the rest of the time. You may want to have some blocks or pillows nearby. Again, not a requirement. So laying down on our mats, we're going to begin in Shavasana, corpse pose. Then we're going to take our leg. I'm going to start with the left. We're going to bring it out to the edge of our mat. And then we're going to bring that other leg to it. You could also cross these if you like for a little bit deeper stretch. Our arms are going to go up overhead. And then you guessed it, over to the side. For banana shape or banana asana. This is a very relaxed pose. You should not be engaging any of your muscles. Everything should be nice and relaxed. Feel some ease. I tend to hold a lot of tension in my knees. Scanning the body to see where you might be holding some tension and letting go. If you're feeling a stretch in the side body, especially here in the upper part, those ribs, this chest, we're really getting some nice stretching along those intercostal muscles and along the ribs, and a little bit of the side and low belly. This should be a gentle stretch. If it's feeling painful or even sharp, bring your banana back a little closer to the center. I'm going to stay here for several breaths. You can experiment a little. If you've stretched out nice on this side body and you feel you have room for a little more, maybe scooch your hands over to the side. Bring your feet over a little bit further. Staying right at that edge of stretch, right at that point between discomfort and pain. Be sitting with that mild discomfort, finding exactly where in your body in this moment that edge lies. Slowly uncurling ourselves and coming back to center. I always like to take a little knees to chest whenever I'm twisting or stretching my spine or low back. You may find that helpful too. And we'll repeat this on the other side. So scooting to the right side, bringing your foot, maybe crossing it over, lifting arms and bringing these to the right side as well. And then finding some stillness, relaxing those muscles and letting that stretch even you out. Pulling at those muscles gently, smoothing them out. Just noticing without judgment how one side may feel different from the other. I like to consider what parts of my day have contributed to that. Am I holding tension on one side? Am I using one hand so much more than the other? I definitely am. Is there uneven strength, uneven tightness in my body? If so, what lessons can I learn from it? Just a few more breaths here. And as you're ready, coming back to center, taking a counter move if you'd like knees to chest. And when you're ready, bring your feet flat on the ground, knees up, those feet almost in touching distance to your bottom, almost grabbable with your hands. I like to start close up here for constructive rest, and then adjust slightly if I need to. Constructive rest is meant to be exactly what it sounds like, restful. Here you've got a slight compression possibly, or even just relaxing this low belly. I'm going to take hands to that belly, and starting with this low part first. Maybe just rubbing or gently kneading belly, the sides, maybe up the ribs, bringing some tender, soft caring to this part of our body that gets kind of a bad rap. I think especially as women, there's a lot of emotion tied up in our bellies. Like Nicole said, this is a place where we grow babies, some of us. It's a place where we have pain, many of us. This is where our food goes and digests and moves through our body, giving us nutrients. This is where so many of our vital organs lay. And yet, we often look at it with disdain, with embarrassment. Perhaps as you bring your gentle hands to this part of our bodies, giving some love, giving some acceptance. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's a practice. Maybe a little bit of tapping. That feels nice. Tapping the body can be very helpful regulate and stimulate our nervous system, especially as we do this at the sides of our bodies. You don't have to tap just your belly. You can tap up along your chest, maybe your head, whatever you can reach. Shoulders, don't forget your arms, the side body, parts of your legs that you can reach. This tapping with a rhythm, very regulating for that nervous system, which resides in many places of our body, but no small part of it is in and around this belly. Releasing that tapping or rubbing when you're ready. You're welcome to continue that movement or to find stillness. If you choose to bring your arms back down to the ground, maybe you'd like to bring your hands up overhead, bring some stretching into the side and parts of the front of the chest and belly. Or you can cactus them out, that's elbows straight out and then arms at a 90-degree angle upward. This is a much fuller stretch across the chest and the front of the body. And lifting our feet. We're going to find a happy baby. And for some people, this is an easy and comfortable shape to find. But for many of us, it can be uncomfortable, embarrassing, or difficult. There are many ways to receive the benefits of this shape. So our classic fingers around big toes, wide open and rocking. This is great if this feels right for you. But you can get this same benefit by just grabbing the backs of thighs and rocking, or perhaps the front of shins and rocking. Maybe you'd like to take ankles, either side. Maybe you'd like to grasp the soles of your feet. These are fine. Rock back and forth. This is a really great one for our bellies and chests as well. Got a little bit of activation in those core muscles, in our low abdominals when we are pulling a little bit or pushing a little bit with the feet and hands, bringing a little bit of traction between them. And it activates our chest here at this upper part of the chest as well, and in through the shoulders as we are pulling gently down. And that's true whether we are engaging here, here, or at the feet. The rocking is also useful, just as it is with babies. This rhythmic motion is soothing to our nervous systems. So it brings a little bit of fun. And hey, our nervous systems love fun. Releasing this as you're ready with no rush at all. You can bring your feet back down to constructive rest. Next, we'll be doing supine twists. For this, I really do like a prop. A block is good, a pillow is better, I think. I like to put these between the knees here. And to get into this shape, we start in constructive rest, again, with those feet close to our buns. I like to gently lift at the hips and scoot them over to the right just a couple of inches. Then, keeping our knees and ankles together, we're going to tip them to the left. So we are having a twist here at the midsection of our body, at our bellies, right near the belly button. And this is where our handy props come in. So a pillow or a block or a bolster between the legs can be very helpful here, especially if you're feeling any pressure, strain, or tension in the hips or discomfort at your knees being together. In the upper body, we are also doing a stretch. I often need to kind of adjust myself to bring my shoulder blades toward the ground. However close your body in this moment can get to shoulder blades on the ground is fine. It does not have to be flat. You can put a supportive block under there or pillow or rolled blanket under there to help feel some connection to the ground. And with our arms, we're going to put them out in a T. So stretching right out. If you'd like a deeper stretch through the chest, you can cactus those arms. And to complete our twist, we're going to turn all the way, our chin and eyes all the way to the right. If any one of these steps feels uncomfortable, turn back. Adjust this how you need. Notice your breath here. If getting into this shape pitched your breath faster or unevenly, just bring it down now, slowing, nice, long, deep breaths. Noticing the sensation as your lungs fill with air and your body takes it in, expanding to receive. And as it falls, as you exhale, that gentle rhythm over and over again. Perhaps you have your arms at a T and you'd like to try cactusing them for a deeper stretch through the chest and shoulders. Or perhaps that T is feeling like too much of a stretch and you'd like to bring your arms in to lessen the strain across the chest and front body. Adapt this to what you're feeling in your body now, using that wonderful intuition to sense and know what is right in this moment. Let's take one last deep, long breath here together. And we'll slowly bring our knees back to center, those feet finding the ground. You can keep that prop between your knees if you like, or you can remove it. I really do love to take a knees to chest whenever we're twisting that spine. Maybe roll that a little bit. We'll repeat this on the other side. So Finding ourselves in constructive rest, lifting the hips, bringing them to the left slightly, and tipping our knees and ankles together to the right. Then twisting in our middle, bringing our shoulders towards the ground and arms out in a T. And finally, bringing our face in the opposite direction of our knees toward the left. Notice how this side is different and how it's the same as the first one. Finding this stillness, letting your body relax into the stretch, maybe making little adjustments. Maybe you want to turn your face back the other way. Practice the arms, reach them overhead, or bring them back toward the body. Maybe you'd like to lengthen your top leg, that left out straight. Maybe you want to reach down toward that bent right foot. The cat pulling its tail. Or maybe this bend is too much, and you need to just adjust yourself a little less twisted. There's no wrong answer here. We're looking to find a gentle stretch and lots of comfort. In our last few breaths here, thinking on the comfort we're seeking, thinking on the balance, completing something on one side and then the other. Noticing the rhythm of our breaths that rise and fall in the body. Letting our body's own rhythm be a comfort to us. As we're ready, bringing ourselves back to center, removing our props, and one last time bringing knees to chest. Or maybe there's another move that feels helpful to you. Maybe you'd like legs up the imaginary wall. Maybe you want to move them around a little bit. Maybe you want to rock a little into that flattened back. Just taking your final adjustments before we find Shavasana, our corpse pose, our final shape. Maybe Shavasana doesn't feel right. Perhaps you liked being on your side. You're welcome to find another shape to hold comfortably and restfully as we prepare for our guided meditation. Letting your body sink into the stillness. Staying with the breath. Nice, deep breathing in. And long, slow exhaling.
So staying in that position or shifting your position on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off so you can just focus on the sound of the waves and on the sound of my voice. And start to let yourself burrow deeper and deeper into the spot where you are. Feel your body as your breath comes in and out, surrendering as you breathe in with the waves, and releasing as you breathe out. And we'll do just a little bit of a progressive relaxation. I want you to really imagine yourself as a little crab in the nest, in the sand. You are safe and you are warm and you are cared for. As you breathe in, you feel your body sinking completely into the sand. Start by noticing the top of your head, your hair, your skull, your forehead, and the back of your head. Just allowing any tension, any holding to dissolve completely into the sand. Moving down to your eyes and your nose, and your top lip and your bottom lip, your jaw, your chin, your earlobes. And imagining that any tension or pain flows off of them and into the ground. Maybe your tension or your relaxation has a color, and you can imagine that it flows off of you. Moving down to your neck, your collarbone, and your shoulder blades. Down your upper arms and elbows and forearms. And allowing that tension and that holding to flow out of each finger and into the ground beneath you. Moving back up to the chest and taking special care to allow any parts of your chest to relax. And your stomach and all of those digestive organs and reproductive parts. And paying some special attention to the upper back body, middle back, and lower back. Breathing in and out and allowing any tension to release into the floor. Inviting some release through those hips and that pelvic region, your sacral region, and your butt cheeks, allowing them to relax all that they hold on to. Letting that relaxation move down your thighs, your kneecaps, your shins and your calves, your ankles, down to the very bottom center of your foot on your right and your left. And finally, relaxing and releasing through all 10 of your toes. Feeling what it is to have all of the parts of yourself completely safe, completely relaxed, and sinking completely into the sand. And start by noticing now all the parts of our bodies that nurture. You may have different parts of your body that nurture, but we'll start first with our chest space and all that is included in that part of our body. Imagining that your chest and your heart space are bathed in a beautiful and warm green light. The temperature of that light is just right. And the color green is the most soothing. Imagining that warm green light wash over that whole region. When you begin to feel those parts of your chest and your upper body begin to relax even more completely. These parts of you can be hard and tough like a crab as you move throughout your life. But just noticing what it is to be soft when you choose to be. What would you let into this heart space if you could be soft all the time? What emotions would you feel more fully? How would you move through your life a little differently with this green, soft, open heart space? What do these parts need in order to feel more nurtured, in order to feel more safe? Think of one word or one thing that this part of you needs to feel nurtured or safe. And then breathe that word into your chest and feel that part soften a little further. Notice how this softening may actually make room and spaciousness and capacity for caring for others as well. That softening in this space actually enlarges your ability to see and love and nurture others. Let your attention start to travel now down from your chest and into your stomach or your soft belly region, which is the other nurturing and emotional center of our body. Imagine this space filled with a vibrant yellow glow. And instead of focusing on softening, invite and allow that yellow light to actually become more vibrant and more luminous. This space is your strength. This space is your shell, your power center. And it can glow as bright as the sun. Allow both your heart center and your stomach center to glow brightly now in your perception. Notice them both. Notice what it feels like to feel soft and strong. And they exist at the same time. Or perhaps they ebb and flow into one another like the tide. You can choose to bring both of these lights and these centers into the world. And that is exactly what is needed right now. The world needs your fierce love and your softness and your power and your connection to others. So let your attention soften now. Let your focus soften as you fall back and relax into your body. And taking a few more breaths, knowing that you can take this nurturing, safe little nest with you, like the shell of a crab, maybe more like a hermit crab, wherever it is that you go. You can start to bring your attention more fully back into your body, back into the room that you're in. Noticing any sounds, noticing the temperature of the room around you. Maybe giving a little wiggle of your fingers or your toes. And in your own time, when you feel ready, coming back to the room, coming back to a seated position.